Sounds good. Right, so for this week, we move on to the new topic, financial accounting and reporting in Malaysian public sector. So I think in the previous class, we discussed an overview of financial reporting in public sector. So now we look at Malaysia as a case. Okay, let me share. All right. Okay, I will start financial accounting and reporting in the Malaysian government. Okay, we look at the role of the Treasury, and then we look at financial accounting and reporting framework. Okay, and we look at the structure of the accounts. I think I'll finish up to the structure of the accounts. We may will review the financial. Just want to look at the source of all this, the guidance, right? And inshallah for the financial reporting part, we'll cover in the next class, during which I will also cover. We will review the annual reports 2019 Malaysian government annual reports of financial statements. Okay, apparently 2020 yet to be published. Now is May, early May, so yet to be published. I don't know when they will issue, because by right expectation is for 2020. They will prepare the reports based on accrual. Okay, so it will be interesting to to review. For 2019, still on cash accounting, modified cash accounting. Okay, but I think that's good enough. Right. Okay, I know. Be with me, because it's quite difficult. Afternoon, during this time, to listen to lecture. Okay, so be patient. Right, I think in a way that how you're going to keep your interest, because government reporting or accounting is huge amount of money. Talk about 300 billion, 360 billion of financial report. So in one report, okay, you talk about the level of expenditures or transactions, total, 300 billion of expenditures, and level of debts more than 1 trillion. I mean, combining, okay, with the commitments. So of course, it's interesting to study. If you get companies, they don't, you don't have that big, listed companies, how big it is, 30 billion, or maybe, maximum 70 billion or 100 billion. Right, but government is government expenditure. I mean, as an entity, as an accounting entity, right? All right, before that, overview of the role of the Treasury. The responsibility of financial accounting and reporting vested in Ministry of Finance, okay, as the authority. I think there's a name for it. So the body of authority is with regards to maintaining public accounts, as well as managing public money. Okay, is entrusted to the Treasury. Okay, and financial authority is the Treasury, basically. Accountants General is basically under the Treasury. Okay, the Accountant General Department or Office is under the Treasury. Issues instruction and directions on accounting matters and procedures. Monitor that proper accounting system is established Ensure procedures comply with the generally accepted accounting practices. Okay, of course the treasury, but the person in charge is the accountant general. Okay, so that's why all accounting procedures are issued by the accountant general office. Okay, a quick overview. I think maybe the same slide was introduced to you during the introduction. I think it's important because you know you have to get used to all this. I think by now possibly you already you know it's all these items are becoming common for you. The Treasury, Accountant General, Federal Constitutions, Financial Procedures Act, NPSAS, and on. Okay, controlling officers, right? So I think we discussed this, right? The Treasury, I think is also mentioned. Just a quick overview. Okay, they're also in charge of the accounts and financial matters, managing the public money. So this is a building. So how many of you plan to work here?
Inshallah, sir.
Apply to work here. Huh?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah. I think they have like penthouse, you know, at the top of the building there, nice hall, and because it was built during the good time. Right, amazing, nice building. Okay, accountants general, improve public accountability functions to prepare quality public accounts in accordance with legal and professional requirements. So I think with this discussion, then we can see a bit more detail. So how this been supported by the AG. To provide quality accounting consultancy and advisory services, I think that one, I think both on financial accounting reporting, okay, as well as accounting system. The fact that they also control the human capital, the accountants for government bodies. That's why you can see that the government agencies, they can hire directly, they can recruit accountants, or they can hire from the market, okay, professionals, or they can get secondments from the AG office, okay, AG Accountant General Department. To regulate and enforce accounting and management-related matters under relevant regulations. These are AG building in Putrajaya. Okay, controlling officers, quick overview as provided in the Financial Procedures Act. Right, so beside managing the budgets, he also responsible for the accounts. Then at the end, he will be accountable to a public account committee. Okay, class, public officers, accounting officers. Okay, please read, understand. Okay, because we talk about accounting operation, collecting the information and reports. Right, look familiar with the photo? Is that accountants or doing audit?
Accountant, sir. Accountant.
All right, now we look at one more time these accounting cycles. I think we completed the budgets on the right part. Now we move on to the preparing the financial statements. Okay, with the accounting system as well as the financial statements. So you can see clearly the financial statement prepared by the accountant general with all the data that collected, okay, from various responsibility centers. And then with that statements will be audited by Auditor General. Because that's why at the end of this class, the final week we'll discuss on the audit, right? Basically auditing these financial statements. Right, the source of guidance and regulations. So we have Federal Constitution, and then Financial Procedures Act, Treasury Instructions, and PSAS. Okay, now I think, of course, for accrual is MPSAS. For the cash, of course, they follow, IPSB standards for cash accounting. Right. These are basically the final constitutions. Okay, so you look at the items. These are just the general remarks. Okay, these are items that related to financial provisions, okay, including, I think we discussed on borrowing and budgets, and control on management of fund, revenue, expenditures, okay, and needs to keep the accounts included. And a bit more detail is under Financial Procedures Act, okay, including yearly statements of accounts, okay, and various funds, and for accounts for various funds. I think with that, I think I did provide a copy of Financial Procedures Act. I think we have a quick view, right, on Financial Procedures Act. All right. Okay, so I'm not showing this for you to memorize, but of course those who can memorize is advantage, right? But it's good to know because it provide, these are the source, where I think the latest revision was made. Called the Act in 1957. There was a series of revisions. The latest was 2006, right? 2006. Okay, just quick overview. One of them, okay, the definition of accounting officers. Okay, consolidated fund. We discussed that. Okay, when we look at the structure of the fund. Okay, so Financial Procedures Act provide the definition. Financial authority. Okay, basically referring to the treasury. Okay, public money. So what public money means? All revenue, loan, trust, and other money, and all bonds, debentures, and other securities. As you can see, multiple. Basically, revenue, basically source of money, loan, so trust, all that will be categorized as public money, except zakat, fitrah, and batul mal. Okay, because these are basically under Sultan, under Religious Council. Okay, State Religious Council, very specific. Okay, accounting, bank accounts, the authority to open bank accounts. I think we just quickly look at this, consolidated fund accounts. So it means that the accounts need to be prepared for this consolidated fund. Okay, there are three. I think we discuss later. Consolidated revenue need to be kept, consolidated loan account, consolidated trust account. So this become the basis of the financial report. Okay, so sometimes we argue, where is the source? It may not be so clear. Maybe in other countries they may have different structure. But I would believe that we, maybe share common practice with other Commonwealth countries. So, but you can check those. I mean, for international students, if you are coming from international Commonwealth country, you can check the acts in your country. Okay, and also you can look at, and for other students from other countries, you may check what are the source of statutes that supporting these financial accounts. Right, and then there are a few. Okay, just quickly, you can read the details. Okay, this a trust account. Okay, where how to keep, what are the relevant public money that can be accounted under trust account. Okay, and one of them they call it the government trust account. So because the source of the funding is basically from government, so they call it government trust account. And then they have public, okay, one including contingencies. So contingencies fund. I think contingencies now during the crisis is widely used. Okay, as another form of financing. Okay, right, payment of money. I just highlight the main one, guarantees. Okay, guarantees also will be clearly reported. Guarantees as liabilities. Okay, the rest are for the budget. Okay, controlling officers. Okay, accounts here. You can see the yearly statement of accounts. So you can see that the requirements to prepare the accounts for consolidated revenue, for loan and trust. Okay, and then these are basis. If you look at this under the Financial Policy Act, so far as it is practicable, a statement of asset and liabilities of the Federation or the state at the end of financial year should be reported. So you can see that even through the statutes, that accrual accounting can easily be we call it practice. Nevertheless, because of I think they will issue a lot. What do you call it? New statutes. Okay, I mean, it should be passed by the Parliament to prepare the public account under accrual accounting. Okay, I think AG providing that, preparing the documents. Okay, but but of course to be more detailed. I think these are some of these. You can see that the authority that government have for investment and others. So you can provide details. Then you can see the source where, like Bank Islam, Tabung Haji. Okay, Tabung Haji is not here. And then some government banks are listed that they are allowed to basically invest. Another federal government trust fund, these are the items, including development fund, housing loan fund, okay. Right, and then so many fund, or they call it kumpulan wang. Okay, right. I think that's just for overview. Okay, have a look for you to get understanding, because based on this also will be reflected in the government accounts. Okay, the government accounts. Not only they follow the standard issued by the IPSAS, but this also become the guidance for them to provide the details that what should be in the annual reports. Okay, all right. I stop here. Right, I continue with the okay. So basically, just now the details for all these items as we discussed. Any questions? Okay, class, I'm getting very concerned. The attendance, many students not come to class. Okay. I mean, is that you have that problem of joining the class or something? Is that a common issue, or simply students have other priorities at this moment, or they're not joining the class? Any comment? Okay, no comment also. You can, anything you can put in the chat, okay, if you want to ask question, you can just put in the chat. I'll check from time to time. But this class quite quiet. Okay, maybe Ramadan. Okay, so these are treasury instructions. These are the item, treasury instruction 53 to 14A with regards to accounting operations. Right. We can also, this is another, I think I share this on MPSAS, but I just have a quick look one more time. Okay, let me share. Okay, website, yeah. Okay, I think this website, you can download from here the relevant in the class. Okay, like MPSAS 1, okay, because it's unique to present, this will be discussed. I think few MPSAS, okay, so get it ready, get yourself familiar with the MPSAS. Of course, it may sound that they are similar to MFRS, but this one is quite unique. Okay, for instance, like they have revenue from exchange transactions. Of course, they don't have revenue from customers. They have revenue from exchange transactions. Okay, they have construction contract. I think this one is quite similar. And then, sorry, 9, yeah. But this also will be discussed. Then revenue from exchange transaction. PPE will also be discussed. And then, okay, impairment of non-cash. I think this one. I just select. Okay, if you look at MPSAS 23, revenue from non-exchange transactions. Okay, so these are unique. They have a separate standards. Okay, for these non-exchange transactions. Okay, and then MPSAS 24, because the presentation of budget information. I think this one you recognize the importance of budget for government agencies, the government. So they have a separate standard how to present. That also will be highlighted. Okay, but impairment, all these are very similar to financial instruments. All these similar to, not similar, but I think you have a good idea from other classes. So I don't share or don't discuss in this class. And also service concession asset. And PSAS 32, this is quite unique concession assets. Okay, because we have PFI, we have long-term contracts. Okay, procurements. So there are things, unique categories of asset, concession assets. So that also will be discussed in this class. And all are basically possible investment exam questions. Okay, so that's quick overview of the standards list. After Hari Raya, after it, we'll discuss the detail. Okay, now we move back to, all right. Okay, we've done this. Now, okay, now we look at structure of the accounts. Structure of accounts in Malaysia, in Government of Malaysia. Okay, I think even the constitutions requires all revenue and money howsoever raised or received by the Federation shall be paid into and form one fund to be known as Federal Consolidated Fund. Okay, that's why I think because the use of fund and then now we are talking about accounting and reporting. So at this point, of course, you get the idea of fund accounting, okay, what need to be done or how to account. But at least the structure of fund as a accounting entity. Okay, so that's why it becomes the basis of the reporting as well, the accounts as well as the reporting, where Federal Consolidated Fund is basically the accounting entity. Okay, this is provision in the Constitution, right? This one is basically the structure, what do you call it, figure that is prepared by AG last time with the general, but I think it's quite easy to follow. You can see that consolidated funds, there are 3 accounts under consolidated funds: revenue account, trust account, and loan account. Okay, so revenue, I think from the name you can tell quickly that is basically basically to account for the revenue. Not only the revenue, but it also will account for the expenditures. In other words, if you look at these 3, these are the main in terms of the source of income to be accounted under revenue account, as well as the expenditures. okay, the operating expenditures, okay, will be accounted under revenue account. So you can see that the flow there, revenue will be accounted in the revenue account, as well as from there, they have the income and then the budget. Of course, this in Malay, but it's basically supply budget. Supply budget or operating expenditures, covering emoluments, service and supplies, acquisition of assets, fixed charges. Okay, there are two types of expenditure there. One is supply bill, the other is charge expenditure. I think it's like a fixed charge provided in the budget. Royal allocation, pension, debt service. Okay, you can see a debt service also is considered as will be accounted under revenue account. Right, if you look at the flow there from the revenue account, there are also contribution. So transfer. Okay, in other words, contribution is transfer. I think we discussed about transfer. So transfer to government trust fund. That's why they call it government trust fund, because the source of fund is coming from the government, government money, okay, public money, okay, government trust fund. And then the other is housing loan, okay. Also, the contribution is from the government, public money. I mean, from the revenue, okay, provided by the government, and then development fund. Okay, so but I think from here we just discuss what the details. Here, I think another for housing loan and development fund, there are two sources of funding. One is from the revenue, the other is from the loan account. So housing loan also provided through loan account. So government take loans and then providing loans to the civil servants. This housing loan is basically for civil servants. Right, more important is the development fund, because we are talking about development budget. Okay, so development budget it's been counted under trust account, okay, for development fund. And so you can see the contribution from the revenue as well as from the loan. I think later on you can see that the main source will be the loan, and of course domestic loan for development fund. And then you can see also from development fund, there is a flow development expenditure, right? If you look at the development expenditure, there are two types. One is they provide loan to government agencies. The other is direct expenditures. So you take note of that. So in other words, development expenditure. So you can see that government, not necessarily that when they provide the budget, it is in the form of direct expenditures. They also provide allocation in the form of providing loans to government agencies, right? So maybe, of course, just a quick overview. So how to tell the difference, okay? When they will give the loan, provide loan, or when they will provide direct expenditures or direct allocation. All right, I think the easy one to understand, to appreciate that is basically loans. They will provide loans. It can be loans. I mean, that's quite common practice for the government. They can provide loans to companies, okay, government companies, agencies, statutory bodies, state government. They will provide loans if the project there is a commercial viability. It means that it can generate revenue. Okay, if the project can generate revenue, if the agency from the loans can generate revenue, then they don't provide direct funding, okay, or direct expenditure. They will provide loans instead. So loans mean they must be repaid. So that's why there is a repayment. Okay, so that's why loans to agencies can become an asset to the government, financial assets, okay, because they're providing loans to government agencies or other entities. And but at the same time, if the project cannot generate income, then they provide direct expenditures. Okay, let's say, if I'm not mistaken, last time when they provide financial tools or equipments to target groups, let's say to Aborigines. I think there are Aborigines department, Jabatan Orang Asli, for instance. Okay, many of that asset, okay, equipment, tools that they provide Aborigines, these are basically funded through development fund. Okay, then of course that are direct expenditure. Okay, because basically when you provide tools to the people, okay, the target groups, they're not going to be able to because tools are given to them so that they generate income for themselves. Okay, not to repay the government. Okay, no way they can repay because these are special groups. Okay, needy. I mean, generally poor people. Okay, so I mean sometimes not only poor because development agenda to revive. Is part of the development, economic development for them, right? So that's direct expenditure. Okay, any questions so far? Right, so and the other one is clearance fund. I think that's possibly transfer between as part of cash management within the government, because you are talking about transfer of cash throughout the ministries, throughout the agencies. So this part of I think then they have this clearance fund. All right, before, okay, just a quick, if you look at the source of fund, trust account, okay, you can see that deposits, trust, advance, returns of advance or loans be accounted. And then for loan, it can be internal loan or external loans, okay? Can be domestic, it can be international as well. All right. So I think get yourself familiar, okay, with all these items, because you can expect that these items will be part of accounting operation, okay, for accounting, as well as a structure for the financial reports, okay. So you can expect the item will be in the financial report as well. Right, I think we discussed this. There are 3 accounts need to be kept. Okay, consolidated revenue, consolidated trust, and loan account. So the word consolidated means because there are series of trust accounts, that need to be consolidated. Okay, right. So consolidated revenue accounts, all revenue and money received by the federal and state government except loan and trust. Revenue and money include tax revenue, okay, non-tax revenue, and receipt from federal territories. So federal territories will be counted directly under the federal government. So you can expect that the big chunk of the revenue will be taxation. And yeah, that will be the main. Okay, source of revenue, right. Federal government revenue, okay, these are more details. Tax revenue, duties and tax, direct tax, income tax, stamp duty, petroleum tax, indirect tax, sales, okay, levy from imports and others. Non-tax revenue include interest and return on investment, fees on license, road tax, and penalties as well. I think government charged so many penalties. During the COVID, there are so many penalties and fines, so that will be non-tax revenue. Any remarks on penalty and PKP or MCO penalty the government are collecting nowadays? Good, good source of income.
Expensive.
Sorry?
Expensive.
Yeah, government need to collect some money to fund government agencies, including IIUM, isn't it? We all benefiting from government revenue. All right. Yeah, it's expensive. I think none of you receive that penalty, isn't it? Or you want to have self-confession here? I think all of you are either at home or on campus. Okay, non-revenue receipts, contributions from other government departments, study bodies, and revenue from federal territories. So federal territories, it's like a local government, but since they are directly under federal government, so that's why they are counted directly under the federal government. Okay, so we have at least three areas: Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, and where's the other one? Federal territories.
Labuan.
Labuan, yes. Okay, state revenue or revenue generated by activity in the state list. I think if you remember the next schedule. Entertainment duties, fees of court, revenue from local authorities, Islamic religious revenue, local government tax, quick rents. I think local government, because they also issue permits, business permits and all that, they can generate income. So that's why you can see that there are different categories of local government, okay, from city, from council, and then district, okay, district office. Okay, I think generally district office these are local government. They are highly dependent on the state as well as federal government for funding, because they cannot collect enough income. Whereas cities, and council, if you look at Selayang, for instance, Majlis Perbandan Selayang Municipal Council. So I think can collect a lot of money. Kuala Lumpur, DBKL, okay, is one of the example city. A huge amount of collection. So they can be, you can tell there is for local government, there are local government where they are financially independent, but there are local government which is heavily dependent on the federal government source of fund to support the activities. Generally, local government, as I mentioned before, they already practice accrual accounting. Okay, they have the choice either to use accrual accounting or cash. Charge expenditures. Okay, you can see that some of it to be independent. They are not directly provided under the ministries. So you can see royal allowance, chief justice, the judges, auditor general, so directly provided for them, and commissions, okay, series of commissions, election commissions, public service, education, police force. Okay, so I think in that sense they will be independent, at least in financial autonomy, because they are directly provided, and not through the ministries. I think on, for instance, like police force commission, there was an issue. We are talking about independent of the police force. Okay. So I think from time to time, the general public, they can question, or maybe the interested NGOs, okay, they can contribute on what will be the governance structure for all these commissions, particularly those commissions that require independent for them to be able to function properly, okay, and then we'll provide that check and balance to the executives, right? Okay, now we move on to each account and look at the items. Consolidate trust account, okay, all receipt of governments and public trust funds. So you can see that government as trust. Once it become, so you can expect, I think we discussed fund accounting. So once it become under trust account, or the money accounted under trust account, you would expect that as a unrestricted fund or restricted fund. Class, still remember? Unrestricted or restricted? Under trust. Trust means the government is being entrusted with the money, for specific purpose. Okay, so that's why trust. Okay, all receipt of government and public trust, and then all receipt for specific purposes, receipt including deposit, trust, and recoveries of loan and advances, used to maintain three major trust fund, government trust funds, including development fund and miscellaneous trust funds. There are details of that. And then public trust fund, okay, can be special and general, and also deposits. Deposit also is considered because given to the government as a trust. Trust means the government cannot use the money, indiscriminately. They cannot use that money to support operating budget. Okay, so that's why they must be kept as a separate account. So most likely will be accounted or treated as a unrestricted or restricted fund for trust account.
Restricted, sir.
Restricted. Okay. So generally for trust, of course, they can also develop the trust committee. Okay, trustees. Okay, trustees. Right. Then the trustees will be the main power, main ultimate power to use the trust. Except for the government, if they don't have the trustee, they should have the act to govern how to use the money. So government trust fund, development fund, okay, under trust fund. So once the money is being channeled to development fund, then of course it becomes restricted, and then the money, the budget will be drawn from this development fund to cater for government budget for the Malaysian plan. Okay, for specific purpose, for specific projects. So if the government agency, they receive this development fund, then they must cap separately also. Okay, they cannot commingle with other general fund. Otherwise, they basically do not respect the procedures. And then this is how the role of accountant is very, very key, to make sure that all these transactions will be accounted for properly. Okay. Because at the end they receive cash, and I think as an example, like what we do, I show you with IUM. Okay, in terms of asset, they have one account, basically commingle. In terms of the accounts, so they must be kept separately. Okay, so and how to do that? Is it to keep a separate GL, or they have separate coding in the GL? Okay, so that the transactions within the trust account will be able to be separated and to be accounted for, and with that they can prepare the relevant financial statements. Okay, so 5 major classifications: clearance account, trading. These are the term used, including contingency and other funds, including national trust fund. Okay, I just put that national trust fund because it was become an issue nationally. So how that been classified? Okay, under government trust fund, and they put it under miscellaneous. You can see how big government is, government money. So few billion they just put under other funds. Okay. Right, another category is public trust fund, to account for general trust money entrusted to federal government and special trust fund incorporated in the relevant act. Okay, so you can, this example, private finance trust account. We talk about PFI, so there is a trust account for that. Public that placed in trust of the government for specific purpose, this is also possible. Then they use public trust fund to account for such fund. Okay, development fund, I think we discussed housing loan. Deposits, okay, to account deposit money received by government for a specific purpose. I think including the court, sometimes money, okay, unclaimed money, okay, if you look at the example there, unclaimed money, okay, so they categorize this under deposits, but this unclaimed money is huge amount of money, I think billions of dollars, been managed by the AG. Okay, they cannot give to any because it's a restricted fund. They need to, because these are the money where from dormant accounts, generally, let's say unclaimed money, either by the government or by the private sector. Okay, let's say the banks, if your account dormant, to a certain time, if there is no claim from the depositors, they will transfer to AG. Okay, and AG will put under unclaimed money. So I think the accountants general, many times they want us to include in our syllabus about unclaimed money. But here, of course, I don't put as a separate topic because it's about accounting entries and others, just for discussion. So as an area, okay, for reporting item in the report, okay, unclaimed money. So maybe you yourself also, you can check. Maybe you have unclaimed money. I think you can check by the Indian Revenue, isn't it? Okay, you can go and check in inland revenue. Do you have any unclaimed money? Okay, that's one. Yeah, last time I checked, I also have a few hundreds unclaimed money. Okay, maybe from the dormant account, you never know. Maybe supposedly you should, you forget some money that you're supposed to collect. So all these they accumulate, they put under unclaimed monies. Unclaimed money control account, so sounds like ledger account, a general ledger account. Right, deposit for high courts. Okay, this is also considered as trust, because deposit, sometimes there is a case, so for them to proceed, then the what do you call it, the case of the parties in the case, okay, they put money in the high court because they have to pay money, I think, even to proceed for civil case, for instance. So this deposit, because the government is entrusted with the money, okay, later on they have to reimburse back or return the money back to the person. Okay, so it's a kind of trust. Okay, they cannot use indiscriminately. Right, National Trust Fund. Okay, kumpulan wang amanah negara. Okay, just news in media recently. So they have annual reports. Okay, I think these are just to show you that they can have annual reports. I think I just choose the one that is relevant. I just choose the annual reports. Okay, so you can click, right? Let me just share. Okay, this right. Kumpulan wang amanah negara. Hopefully they have in English. Let me see. Okay, all right. Look at the English side. All in Malay. Oh, all in Malay. Right. Just for class, is for discussion purposes. These are examples where fund as an accounting entity, so they prepare the financial statements. Okay, for international students, this is basically like annual reports for a fund. Okay, instead of company or agency, these funds. Okay, here is national fund. Recently, there was a news to use the money to buy a vaccine, but these are restricted fund. Okay, so they have the objective, specific objective. If you look at this, of course, they call it National Trust Fund, but it's basically to manage the national resources of the country, including the petroleum. So very focused, right? So it cannot be used for other purposes. Of course, now during the time of crisis, as an example here, the total amount, this one is 2016, I don't have the latest. So maybe now they have a lot of money. So you can see that at the group level, the total, let's say we look at the shareholders fund. Okay, yes, total asset. I think if you can see all these financial assets, it's around 16 billion that time, 16 billion. And it is in the form of, mainly in the form of financial assets, and as well as cash. Okay, so very, very liquid assets. So definitely can be used easily. So, but these are restricted fund. Okay, as an example. You can, browse through your own time. Maybe in the net you can check, do they have the English version? Okay, right, continue. Okay, now a consolidated loan account to accounts for all receipt from loans and disbursement for outstanding loans and transfer to other loan fund. Okay, receipt from local and external borrowing. All right. Okay, I think another 5 minutes. We'll continue next week, next class. Financial reporting, the Malaysian government. Okay, federal constitutions requires federal government to submit, so far as it's practicable, the statement of assets and liabilities for the federal of last financial year. So these are financial reports. One, of course, once you have the accounting, now you have the reporting. So statement of assets and liabilities. So you can see that federal constitution make it very broad. Okay, it can be translated into accrual accounting, but in practice, as for now, government still use modified cash accounting. Okay, now we are in the transition to move to accrual accounting, and I think we also may see that in the clause in the Financial Procedures Act. I think, of course, then towards the end, when we talk about accounting, the preparation, definitely we follow accounting standards. But at the same time, because these are government, they must have source of law that to guide, because the mandate, all that. Okay, but in terms of practice, then accounting standard will be very useful. Okay, basis for financial reporting. Right, financial statements, the Financial Procedures Act. These are the financial statements. Okay, statement of consolidated revenue account, statement of consolidated loan account, statement of consolidated trust account, statement of accounts of funds, okay, created by federal constitution not included in consolidated trust account, and statement of assets and liabilities of the federal and state showing. So why they have this? Okay, so you can see that, as I mentioned just now, when the accounts need to be kept, okay, the revenue account, the loan account, and trust account under consolidated fund, so the same become the basis for reporting. Okay, so each will prepare the financial statements for each account. Not only that, because they use modified cash basis, they have this to support. That's why they have, and then I think in a way that to meet the requirements of the Constitution. The Constitution said total assets and liabilities, whereas under cash accounting, cash accounting will not report liabilities in the financial statements. So that's why they support this with statement of asset and liabilities. Okay, these are not balance sheet. They call it memorandum accounts. Okay, memorandum accounts. So we'll see that. Right, the treasury instructions. Okay, these are number 15, and then series of treasury instructions. Right, and also the source of the guidance will be provided for statutory bodies as well. Statutory bodies. Okay. Right, I think I stop here. Okay, for today. We'll continue with the annual reports in the next class. Okay, I think if I continue now, it's quite rushing, and there are so many items. I think it should take time for you to be able to appreciate. Right? Any questions? We have around like 1 hour. Maybe next class or so we'll spend 1 hour time. Any question, class? Oh, no question. Right, I know. Okay, so you can use remaining time, okay, for your assignments, for your homeworks, class discussion, and if you have any questions, you can just stay back. Okay, I will wait another 2-3 minutes, and you can PM me also. Right, so everybody is quiet. 87 students, okay. Oh, so 10 students, 10, 15, 17 students missing. What happened to them? I'm tracking now, in the process of tracking who is basically absent. Okay, hopefully, but if you have any problem in your group, so how's your group works? Okay.
Excellent.
Your group works, you know, but no discussion, no. I think, yeah, you can have group discussion. I mean, consultation also for your assignments. So far, so good. Any issue on your assignment too?
No issue, sir.
So far so good, sir. No issue for now.
Please, don't cut and paste. Study, read all the articles. Okay, try to understand, because some of it, okay, some, basically assignment is for you, for learning purposes. Okay, that's why we give you assignment, so that you read the relevant articles, read the relevant literature. But at your level, you can refer for both professional articles. You can refer to government source of articles, academic articles. Okay, but if you need a more neutral, what do you call it, or more evidence, then of course academic also provide insights, provide you with the, what do you call it, feedback. Okay, so you can refer them so that you can. I think in other countries, let's say in the US, for instance, from time to time they use research, academic research. They update their members, because academic work is, they have that robustness in terms of data, okay, rather than just personal experience. Okay, so from there, the quality of information is good, so can be used for the guidance, for the policy. Okay, so you can use that as well. All right, since no other questions, I will end this with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.